Hello, my name's Lewis Tyler, Managing Editor of International Fire and Safety Journal. Delighted to be here at the NFPA Conference in Las Vegas. Delighted also to be joined by Daniel Murray of UL. Daniel, how are you doing?
Very good, Lewis. How are you?
Good, good. And now we were just speaking off air, and I really am interested in this. So I just wondered, could you give us a quick demo of how it works and what it is?
So this is a map that represents our footprint in terms of global market access. So we support manufacturers by obtaining critical certifications that meet the required standards in all of these territories. So by offering UL listed certification, our customers can access the North American market. Coming across to the UK, we offer UKCA and CE services, and then another big market for us is the Middle East. So UL standards and EN standards are offered throughout the world, which enables manufacturers to sell on a trusted brand.
And then another thing we were discussing is how UL kind of works with end users, you know, in terms of the validation side. I just wondered if you could talk us through that.
So that's a great question. So in terms of validation, that's absolutely key. So the key thing with the UL certification is products are tested, but they're also inspected and certified. So the products the manufacturers supply are inspected on a quarterly basis. So it gives all stakeholders, whether it's authorities having jurisdiction, regulators, customers, peace of mind that their products have been certified and tested to the absolute highest standards.
And then just in terms of your built environment services, you know, what's driving demand in that respect? Because I know a lot's changing for the industry. For yourself, it must be the same.
Very much so. So we're seeing three big evolutions in the industry. First is electrification. Second is things like batteries and grid storage solutions. And the third is smart buildings. So all of these things combine fast-moving technologies. So from a standards organisation and a testing, inspection, certification body, keeping up with the industry, and this is why we're here this week, to meet with manufacturers and understand their specific needs. Big driver in the industry is data centres, so lots of topics of conversation. And really UL Solutions is leading the way in evolving our services to meet the growing needs of data centres.
Daniel, thank you.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you. Now, Corinne, we just spoke to your colleague there in terms of, you know, the built environment, how much of a big part of the business it is for UL. So just in terms of, you know, bringing testing, certification and applied safety science,
sure.
How does this integrated approach really help organizations?
Yeah, so I think our customers, and we're hearing that more and more at the executive level, it's less about are we compliant, but there's clearly an evolution in the marketplace about are we truly safe? Are we resilient? And ultimately, are we future ready? That's the key here. So at UL Solution, we're in a unique position where we support the entire value chain of safety science. So for example, we're not testing product in isolation. We're making sure we're incorporating throughout the design and the evaluation of products, research, standards, testing, certification, to be able to provide a more rounded approach, which is typically performance-based, because what's important? We need to understand how the products and systems are performing in real-world conditions. So that's the key here. So what do our customers need is that they need us to help them better understand risk as early as possible, but also help them understand more robustly how their product perform in the real world. So ultimately, what does that mean? That means that we help them meet requirements, obviously, but make decisions throughout the product development cycle. So as early as ideation, all the way to ultimately in the field. So that goes by, obviously, we're helping them throughout the design cycle. procurement as well, making sure that we support them in purchasing and acquiring the right components and so forth. So ultimately you can see that shift from merely meeting requirements to ultimately that approach of performance-based, which is key because safety is no longer a requirement. It's clearly an advantage, a strategic advantage in the marketplace.
And then just in terms of, UL often talks about the supporting innovation earlier in the life cycle. What does that actually mean in practice for you as a company?
Sure. So if we take a step back, right? I mean, the certification is typically towards the back end of a product development cycle, which has its advantage, but also majorly disadvantage. What that means is that when a product can come to us, it's pretty done being designed, and then if there's any change that are needed, it's extremely costly, and it ultimately impacts the timely launch of a product, which can make a lot of difference for customers. So what does that mean is that we encourage our customers to come as early as possible throughout their product development cycle. So it's, as I indicated earlier, at ideation, and we're engaging with them throughout their design cycle at different strategic points or stage gates, because this is where the value is in understanding, helping them design products, mitigate the risk, because there are many throughout that design cycle, and ultimately helping them make the right decisions.
Okay. So final question from me.
Of course.
The company obviously operates a global network of laboratories. So how does this global network really help on the ground?
Sure. So we do know that our customers have an interest in developing products more locally, so that contrasts with globally and locally. So what did we have to do is obviously adapt. So we've built a network of expertise technically, but also lab, in order to support where the innovation is being developed. So obviously in North America, but also in Europe and in Asia, where there's a lot of growth opportunities, and we're seeing our customers moving into those regions. So clearly being that partner where they need us to be is very important. Again, that complexity of compliance is helping them mitigate risk throughout their product development cycle, and we're here to support that into that area.
Great. Many thanks for your time.
Of course. Thank you.
See you soon. Now, Dwayne, we've spoken to a couple of your colleagues already, but just in terms of, real-world performance, we're seeing a lot of, influx of data centers, lithium-ion batteries, that kind of thing. How do you manage that, real-world performance of solutions?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to manage is to distinguish the difference between evaluating products that are on a product level or individual component level compared to evaluating it on a holistic basis, like a system basis. The whole idea is being able to understand how does this perform as a system, how do these products interconnect, and how does it perform as it would in the real world scenario. One example is like for fire and smoke detection, initiating and indicating the equipment, as well as security equipment. One of the things that we see is that it's interconnected in ways that we never have seen before. You've got wireless connectivity, you've got algorithms, complex algorithms, you've got hardware and software, you've got the introduction of AI, and also cloud connectivity. And all of this brings us challenge of introducing how do you evaluate the product at not just the component level, but all of those systems as they interconnect and they work together. And another area that we've seen that on is, of course, data centers that you mentioned. And so, as you can imagine, a data center has a lot of different products that we would normally individually evaluate. And in isolation, it may look like it's doing just fine. But as you look at a whole data center as a system, how is it functioning as a system? And so that's one of the things that we're trying to do here, is we're trying to certainly encourage our customers to think more holistically. And one of the sayings here is that safety doesn't happen by chance, and so we have to really look at the holistic system level.
And then just in terms of, not reliability, but having the overall knowledge of risks of data centers, lithium-ion batteries. How important is it that the industry is aware of, the risks of containment and actually, responding to such fire risks?
Oh, absolutely. I think the lithium-ion batteries is one of the areas where the whole UL enterprise has done a great job with its safety partners, many different safety science partners, to demystify what happens with lithium-ion battery fires. Have an understanding that the lithium-ion battery fire is not just a fire, but it's really a chemical reaction. It carries with it almost explosions, explosions of shrapnel, and also the release of very harmful gases, right? And so because of that, it was really important to understand exactly what's happening with that, but also to understand the surrounding environment and to understand how you can contain it. So we've done a lot of work with e-mobility devices, e-bikes, e-mobility devices, as well as a lot of battery energy storage systems with 9540 and 9540A that you'll hear a lot talked about, and also containment standards like standards that fly on airplanes for the battery bags and battery containing enclosures, and also battery containment enclosures 1487, UL 1487. So we've done a lot to look at how we contain that actual phenomenon of thermal runaway.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, good.
Okay.